here with Litto Gomez, the maker of Flor Dominicana cigars. Litto, it's so nice to have you here today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you and enjoy a cigar together, yeah.
This is what it's all about. Litto, you've been making cigars for just over 30 years now. Tell me a little bit about your journey as a cigar maker. What was it like back in those early days, and how does it differ from what you're doing now?
It was just a concept of a cigar smoker that doesn't know anything about cigars or cigar making. I actually cut a cigar open when I made the decision of going to the Dominican Republic and start making cigars. I cut the cigar open to see what was inside. I had no idea what was inside. I didn't know if it was drop filler. I had no idea if it was a paper inside. I had no idea what was in a cigar, okay? And so that a person like that goes to open a cigar factory. It's not to get into a cigar business, because you can get in the cigar business and you contract a manufacturer to make the cigars for you. But that was never, I was never in a possibility. We had to go and make our own cigars. And with that total lack of knowledge about it, it was an adventure. It was a crazy adventure that you have the guts to do it, but your chances of success are very, very tiny.
That was 1994 when you started making cigars.
Yeah.
There were a lot of companies that started around that time. There's certainly other companies, a lot of companies that aren't here anymore. Early on, did you think you had a chance? Did you ever doubt your chance of success early on? Was it ever dicey?
I did not doubt it. I knew that I could make it. Okay, very early on, I knew that I could make it, and that's how irresponsible I am. That's how dumb I am. Okay, just to think that I can do that.
That's not being dumb. That's being confident.
That's being crazy confident. Okay, there's a difference between confident and crazy confident. Okay, and actually, I can tell you, I was the first one in Dominican Republic, the first new factory ever from somebody that doesn't belong to the industry.
So you had no background. Your father didn't make cigars. You didn't have any family in the business. This is a completely new venture for you.
Right, and I remember at the time I had gold chains, and I will wear Gianni Versace Medusa silk shirts. And, I was coming on the plane to Santiago every week, right? And I'll find other cigar makers. And they look at me and say, this guy doesn't fit the profile of a cigar maker, okay? He looks more like a mafia guy from Miami, okay? And there's a funny story with Daniel Nunez. Okay, I went to buy wrapper from him one day.
Yeah, from General Cigar. He was a General Cigar.
Yeah, he ran Cooper at the time, General Cigars. And I purchased a bale of wrapper, Connecticut wrapper, and I paid him in cash with $20 bill. He was convinced that I was from the underworld in Miami. He told me that not too long ago. Okay, it's so funny. And but I was the first we were the first factory that opened ever in Dominican Republic. That from a totally stranger that was not from the industry. Okay.
Were you welcomed with open arms, or it doesn't really sound like?
No, not really. No, not really. They were worried about me. Okay. And you know what? I understood why. Yeah. And they were very jealous about the cigar industry is like a family. It's a small family.
Sure.
So they were kind of worried about me, and there were a lot of stories about me. But then, time went by, and they realized I was just there working. I was just there trying to make a living. Slowly I have become friends with everybody, every manufacturer. And suddenly I was being invited to a dinner with Benji and Manolo or Henke, and they were inviting me to have dinner. Man, that was at that time was such an incredible experience because I didn't speak a word. They would be speaking to each other about cigar making. I was not saying it, I was just listening.
Listening and learning.
I was just learning,
Yeah.
And then, like almost a year after I started, that's when, cigar boom, the cigar market in the United States went crazy. And the demand went really high. And then, a lot of factories started to come, okay? And at that time, I was an old timer already, okay? So I was almost part of the establishment already at that time. And I had my connection with my supplier.
Your tobacco supplier.
My leaf supplier for filler and for wrapper, okay? And I will go to Alfredo, Alfredo. What a guy, he helped me so much. And I will go to him once a week. I will pick up 2 bales of filler, 1 bale of binders, and I put it on my shoulder and put it on my old truck.
You would carry your supply to the truck yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would carry those.
Two bales of filler, 1 bale of binder.
Yeah. And that was the tobacco for the week.
That was a whole week's worth of tobacco?
That was tobacco for my week production, okay? And the following week, I will go and pick up another 2 bales of filler, okay? The binder will last a little longer, but the filler was just for the week. And the tobacco was aged, it was fermented, he had great tobacco, as you know. So that was the beginning. Actually, like the first month when I walk into his warehouse, it's in the middle of the summer, a steamy day. And I walk in there and the dust and all this tobacco, wrinkled tobacco leaves everywhere. And that powerful smell of tobacco just fermenting. That day, I just fell in love with it. It got under my skin. And I said, I want to be here in this room forever. Like, I want to sleep here. That took over my life. That was so, I had no idea that it was like that. Okay, and then, I grabbed these leaves that are all wrinkled. I start opening them up. And they're alive. They're alive. And I don't think there's any other leaf in the world that can do that. And I fell in love with the leaves, so that was a crucial moment for my life as a cigar maker. So now we're in the middle of cigar boom. I have 12 rollers.
12 rollers.
12 rollers.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're making about 300,000 cigars a year at that time, and I couldn't have 1 more pound of tobacco from my supplier. Okay. My supplier will supply his older customer and will supply me. He didn't have more tobacco for his old customer or for me. He gave me what I could have, okay, but he didn't have more. So I spent the whole cigar boom with 12 rollers.
Because you were limited by you couldn't get any more tobacco.
I couldn't get any good tobacco.
If you wanted to, you can get more rollers, but you didn't have the tobacco to make more cigars, so why get more rollers?
Right. So
12 rollers is not a lot of rollers.
It's not a lot of rollers, it's a very small production.
Yeah.
And the rolling room at that time will hold 100 rollers. It was an empty rolling room. And I remember it was to get, one day, a friend of mine, a colleague manufacturer, was gonna get me 10 bales of tobacco from another supplier, but it had to be a secret. I couldn't tell anybody about that, because if the company that guy supplied found out, it was gonna be a major issue, okay? Man, and I was waiting for those 10 bales of tobacco that were gonna come to my place secretly so I could make a few more cigars.
For 10 bales.
For 10 bales of tobacco, I mean, it was crazy. But then, there was 4 or 5 blocks down the road from my factory. There was a factory that opened with 50 rollers. So now I'm thinking, wait, is there something that I don't know here? Okay,
Yeah.
because there's no tobacco here. There's no good tobacco to make cigars. So what are they going to do there? They have $50. There's no good tobacco in the country, and they found tobacco that was raw, completely raw, and bad quality from bad areas, and started buying wrappers from Indonesia, and they didn't ferment them, and they started making cigars with that.
Wait, there were a lot of bad cigars rolled during those years.
As you know, we know each other for 30 years. We can tell the story.
Yeah.
There was a lot of bad cigars, when the boom ended and the consumption came down in 1998. I don't know if it was because it was out of fashion, or if people got turned off by bad cigars, because there was a lot of bad cigars being made, more than 100 factories in Dominicana.
And probably a lot of new customers coming in, their first experience is maybe getting a bad cigar and saying, what's this all about?
Yeah, I mean, imagine smoking a cigar with raw tobacco. Like, it's not a good experience.
Right.
You will remember that bad experience. And I couldn't get tempted to make more cigars, to get a few more, to sell a few more cigars. I had to stay with my production. We actually started to grow in '98.
So that was a major turning point for your company, wasn't it? Going from being strictly a cigar maker to a person who grew tobacco for your own cigars.
That was our first crop at the
1998.
farm. Yep, I purchased the farm in 1997.
Can you tell me about buying that farm, because that was a big move, and it was a surprise move in some ways, wasn't it?
Yeah, especially for my wife. Like, I found this farm, this piece of land, and I wanted to start farming tobacco because I wanted to grow my own tobacco, because there's a lot of things that you can do that tobacco will be the way you want it. Okay? Yes. And I started studying. I was studying. I was traveling. I was traveling to Cuba. I was traveling to Nicaragua, to Honduras, to see how the great farmers would do it. Okay, and so I realized that to have consistency, I have to farm. We have to farm out of the market. So I decided to go and find this piece of land and purchase it. Okay, and then. Once I gave the check and I paid for the land, and I say, okay, my wife is my wife and I love her, but she's also my partner. And she's gonna find out. I cannot hide this from her. So I'm gonna have to tell her. And so that, I remember after I paid, we did sign all the papers and I paid for the land. I went back to Miami as usual that weekend, and then I take my wife to this great restaurant, really beautiful place, to have this great dinner. And once we finished having dinner, we had a great dinner. Then I had this speech prepared for her, and I start, Ines, what do you think if we start farming our own tobacco? Imagine what it's going to do for the consistency of our product, for the future of the company. And I went on and on and on. And as I was talking, I was becoming insecure because she was not interrupting me, which she always does. She cannot have a conversation with me without interrupting me, okay? And she was not interrupting me, and I'm thinking this is not going well.
Oh boy.
Okay, and once I finished my great speech, she goes, Litto, I think that is a really bad idea, okay? And then that's when I said, okay, shit, okay. So, well, Ines, I'm gonna have to apologize, but we already purchased a farm, okay? And then she got so pissed. She really got pissed at me. A whole month that no, she didn't want to have sex with me. She didn't want to talk to me. Like, okay. The not talking to me was a good part, actually. I thought. My dear wife, if you're watching this, okay, I'm just joking.
This is the best.
Okay. And
I got tears in my eyes, Litto.
It went time went by.
Time went by.
And every time, she would see the expenses of setting up the farm and, building the curing barns and stuff, she would get even more pissed at me.
Right, because you bought a farm, but you didn't buy it. You bought a piece of land that you turned into a farm, right? There was no tobacco barns. There was no tobacco.
There was nothing. No infrastructure.
This is a dream, really. You bought a dream.
Yeah. And
it was probably a big check.
Yeah, it was. And she was probably thinking about buying a new house or something, a bigger house. But you know what? It's like, right, you're in a business and, some money start coming in and, you have extra money in the bank account. And then, you buy a fancier car, you buy a bigger house, or you make your company stronger.
That was a bold move.
Okay, so I thought, make the company stronger was the answer. Okay, that's the good use for that money. Go ahead.
You were locked in. Your production was locked in. It was around 300,000 cigars or so because of the limits on tobacco. I know it was a long-term thing to do that farm. Once you started seeing the payoff of the tobacco from the farm, how did your production increase, and how much did it increase?
A lot. We were able to make, more cigars with tobacco that was the way I wanted it.
Yeah.
With tobacco that I knew where it was coming from. I knew there was consistency. I knew the seeds. We put the seeds on the ground, in the same ground, year after year. And that peace of mind it was beautiful. And Inez understood it immediately. And nowadays, shortly after that, she realized that, that was the best decision we ever made for our company. And that is not only gives you the assurance of, that the tobacco is consistently the same year after year, other than minor difference because of the weather or each crop, but it comes from the same land, from the same seeds. And so not only that, but it gives your cigars or your lines of cigars, it gives a personality. It gives a profile.
Yes.
A certain profile that you will find in the cigars that we make. Okay. And whether you like them or not, okay, it is there. It is there because it comes from that farm. And it's grown in a certain way, it's cultivated in a certain way, trying to get more ligero, trying to get stronger leaves. And for that, we do things, spread the plants more apart, less plants per square meter, and less leaves per plant, so nutrients go to a smaller number of leaves, and those leaves are more powerful, they have more oils, more thickness. And those are the things that you do during a cultivation that a normal farmer will not do, because it's not commercially smart. Okay.
A normal farmer's trying to.
He wants more leaves in a plant. He doesn't want less leaves, and there's no way you can convince him to get rid of some leaves from the plant.
He's paid by the pound.
Exactly. Yeah. So commercially, you can't do that because it doesn't make sense. But when you do it for yourself, then now you get, instead of getting a 20% ligero, now you get 40% ligero. Okay, and that's how you blend full body cigars. And that flexibility is what you get. And you get that personality in your blends that comes from that soil. Okay, because at the end, it's all about the terroir, what comes, and it can only come from one place. And you've been to many farms in many countries, and you know that there's differences, the way they cultivate them and the way they taste from that farm to the next farm, there's differences.
Do you remember the first cigar that really put you on the map, the one that you said, okay, this is the one that made the Flor Dominicana a big deal?
It was the 2000 series back then.
2000 series.
Yeah.
With Cameroon wrapper.
Cameroon wrapper, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we were actually, there was only two companies that had access to Cameroon wrapper, and that was Fuente, Arturo Fuente and General Cigars. And they were grown by Rick Mirafeld in Cameroon. And they will only sell to those two companies. But then this new company opened up, and they started growing Cameroon in Cameroon. And I remember I purchased the first crop from this company, the whole crop.
Purchased the whole crop. Okay.
Yeah, I purchased the whole crop. It was not a big crop. The second one I couldn't buy because it was a much bigger crop. Okay, and I told the guy, listen, I can't buy a whole crop. I don't have the money for that. And he goes, don't worry, I let you take a first look. Okay, when it comes in every year, I let you take a first look at it, and you choose the tobaccos that you want. And that's how we started with our the 2000 series. And it was very highly rated by Cigar Aficionado. And that took our company to a different level. I mean, it was so amazing at that time. And then I became addicted to Cameroon wrapper. And you know what I smoke most of the time.
Well, every day, your typical morning smoke.
Right, yeah. I became addicted to it in a good way. It's my favorite wrapper.
Cameroon's your favorite wrapper, still to this day?
It's still to this day.
Okay.
Yeah, still to this day. And you know, I love all the tobaccos that we work with, but for my morning cigars, it has to be Cameroon. So it was so interesting. The evolution of growing slowly, being accepted in the market, being accepted within the trade, with your colleagues, your peers, and then you realize how close this industry is. How competitors from different companies can spend time together just for fun, without being enemies or without we just like being with each other.
Yeah.
And you've seen that in many years, and we go to dinner together. And we enjoy being with each other, all of us.
It's a great group of people.
Yeah.
And I think, why is that? I mean, why are because you compete in the market, but when you get a group of cigar guys together, the cigars come out, the drinks are poured, and it's not like Coke and Pepsi. It's generally a friendship for the most part.
It is.
Why is that? Why is this industry different from so many other industries?
I can tell you one thing. If everybody in this world would smoke cigars, there would be no wars. People that smoke cigars, they don't fight with each other. They don't insult each other. They don't disrespect each other. You see them with consumers, and you see them with cigar makers. We enjoy each other, and we're competing, but we don't need to trash the next guy to sell your cigars are good. You know, each one of us, we go and we take our message, and we say how good we are, and that our cigars are great, and so everybody else does, without criticizing anybody on the way, and that's a beautiful thing, and I met some of the best people, like people that that are big, that have big companies. And they're some of the most humble people in the world, very down to earth. I don't know if it is because we do an artisanal product, we work with nature, whatever it is, that everybody's so down to earth, and they own big companies, and they're very wealthy people, and they're so humble and so nice, and we have a lot of respect for each other. Everybody respects each other. And I see somebody, I have friends of mine, they get a #1 cigar of the year. I celebrate, I call them. okay, and I get happy for it. It is a beautiful industry. It's been a little more than 30 years, and I can tell you, man, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I say thank you, God, every day for having the life that I had, the journey, the personal satisfaction that I have had in all these years. I never knew that my life was going to be like that.
Did you ever think 30 years ago that you'd be sitting here talking about this business
No.
and where it is today?
No, I didn't even know there was a magazine called Cigar Aficionado when I started, believe it or not. I found out in Villa Gonzalez, Inez called me, my wife called me and said, there is a magazine about cigars, right? I said, what? And she was, yeah, I just got the contact and, we're going to call the people and we're going to start advertising. Man, I didn't know, I had no idea. And then, I got a hold of all the magazines that I could because, Cigar Aficionado started like in 92 or
1992, yes.
And I got all the magazines and I was reading the stories about the cigar makers and their lives and man, I found out so many things about everybody and about the industry. It was amazing. And this was already in 1994, yeah. So then meeting with all those people and becoming friends with them, it was an amazing thing to this day. I enjoy the friendship of everybody, and I am very much in contact with everybody pretty often.
Yeah.
God bless his business, and the fact that I was able to stay in the business and be here today sitting with you.
And I want to go back to something you said earlier. You said when you started out, you would pick up 2 bales of filler, 1 bale of binder, and that would last you a week. How long does 3 bales of tobacco last you today?
My God, I mean, we have thousands of bales of tobacco today. It's a couple of hours.
That's come a long way.
A couple of hours, yeah.
How many cigars are you making nowadays?
This year we'll make 4.9 million.
4.9 million. It's a pretty good number, Litto.
Yeah. And I never thought I'd be doing. I was saying, I'll make 2 million cigars and that's it. I'm not going to make any more.
I think you told me that once.
But then, it's okay. You growing and you're growing a little bit every year, and then there's more demand for it.
Mm-hmm.
What we make is not enough to supply the market, so you have to do more to make more. But I didn't know that I was going to be able to still manage everything at the factory in a way that I feel comfortable. Okay, and I still do. If I would have to delegate so much that I had no idea what's happening in some of the departments, I will not be happy doing that.
You're still very much in control of what you do.
Still, there is more people in this department, more people in that department. I still get in, and I'm still being able to see what they're doing, and I'm still being able to talk to them and joke with them and make sure they're doing it right. So I still have time to go through the departments, so I'm still in control. And as long as I'm in control, I can continue growing a little bit, not a lot in a year, but a little bit every year in a way that I'm comfortable with, that I can avoid bad mistakes. So I'm still in control. And as long as I am like that, I feel good about it. I will continue to supply the market, no? And it's going well, much more than I thought I'd be making, but just happy that I can do it.
One of the things that's changed for you over the years is you've always worked with family. Your wife Inez has always been a part of the business right from the beginning. But now your sons are part of the business too. And the cigar we're smoking right now, the Solis, was blended by your son Litto, Litto Jr. How does it feel to be smoking a cigar that is blended by your youngest son?
It was funny. Litto Jr. came to the factory one day, right? In vacation time. And he goes, Dad, I would like to blend a cigar. And I said, yeah, okay, that's great. And he has a pretty good palate. He can taste things.
Runs in the family.
So I said, yeah, go ahead. So he goes to the guy, that does the blends at the factory, that put the blends together, the leaves together for the blends. And he goes, hey, listen, what are the best tobaccos that we have here at the factory? And the guy said, this and that. Okay, yeah, put this and that together. Okay, and make a few cigars with that, okay? So the guy does that, right? So he gets the cigars made and then he brings me the cigars. Say, Dad, let's smoke the cigars, see what you think. And we smoked the cigars and by that time, the guy already told me what my son asked him to do.
Okay.
So we light up the cigar and, the cigar was great. And I said, man, this cigar is really, really good. I love it. Yeah. And he goes, so can we release it? Can we make a new line of cigars? I said, well, not with this cigar. If you want to say, because I'm sure you want to say that you blend the cigar, so now you are going to blend the cigar the way you will have to blend the cigar. Not the way you did it with the guy that gives the blends to the rollers. Okay, I'm going to set up a table for your next trip with all the different tobaccos that we have. And you're going to smoke them one by one.
Each component.
Yep, you're going to smoke them all. I'm going to have all the cigars made by one with each type of tobacco. And you're going to smoke them all. And then you're going to decide which ones you're going to put together in a blend. He goes, Dad, but that's complicated. What, that's how you're going to blend a cigar, okay? And then you're going to claim that you blend a cigar, okay? And he goes, okay, so next trip he came and I had, I prepared him all the tobaccos and he started doing his work and he went to the bathroom to puke like 3 or 4 times during the day for a couple of days. And after that, that week, he came up with a couple of blends that he did. So one of them was this one, yeah. And he did it the right way.
That's the right way to do it.
Yeah.
You're proud.
I'm proud. And he's proud. And he's, he told me when I was coming here, when you get there and you with David, call me because I want to talk with him. I want to let him know that, you're gonna smoke this cigar. He's very proud of it. He's very proud of it. And I tell you that there's not a better feeling that if you create something and that somebody is going to actually buy and is going to enjoy, and you created that, I can still get over it. I mean, I was, when I started, I'd be so happy when I see somebody smoking one of our cigars. 30 years later, I still do. And, I go to events and, people want to take pictures with me or they want me to sign an autograph a box. They don't know that I want them to autograph my shirt because I'm happier to meet them smoking our cigars that they are meeting me, because I just cannot. I mean, it's the happiest thing that you can do, create something and somebody's enjoying that. And this is the reward. That's the reward. And there's this guy, this gentleman that I met in this event. And I was in a cigar shop in Atlanta, and this older gentleman gets close to me to greet me. He was with his son, maybe 19, 20 years old. And this guy, he comes to me and says, Mr. Gomez, shakes my hand, and, I drove for an hour and a half to come and meet you. And I wanted to let you know that as he pulls a cigar out of his pocket, I want you to know that for the last 15 years of my life, I smoke one of these cigars every day. So, when he tells me that, I immediately get extremely happy. Like,
Sure.
oh my God, you know what? Thank you for coming today to this event and share that with me. And I'm so happy that we haven't disappointed you in so many years with the quality of the cigar. So I was very happy. It was a really great moment, and it was very special. But then, the event was over, and, I went to dinner, and then, I'm in my hotel trying to go to sleep, and I couldn't go to sleep. Trying to figure out what this guy told me, what the meaning of that was. And then it hit me, and then I realized that I work for him. He's my boss. And that I have a tremendous responsibility with him. I have an obligation with him. He knows that cigar much better than I do. I don't smoke that cigar every day, he does. And whatever time of the day he sits down and smokes that cigar, he knows what to expect from that cigar. And I have to give that to him. I have to provide that to him. And that's sometimes we don't know what the purpose of our life is. And I discovered and I realized what the purpose of my life is. This is what we do. We do something that people are going to enjoy in a good moment. And it made my life even happier, just to know that that is what I do. That's what I do. And it is a beautiful thing. And that's why I feel blessed, because there's a lot of people that enjoy our cigars. And I open my phones in the morning, and there's a message from a guy in Sicily, in Italy, telling me, thank you for making great cigars. There's another message from somebody in India, like, Mr. Gomez, I'm enjoying your cigar. And my God, this is how I start my day.
Feedback from the consumer.
Yeah, people telling you thank you for making a product for them that they're enjoying. And so I don't know what else I could be doing with my life. Okay, shit, man, I can tell you this, there's nothing better than this for me, okay? Nothing better, never expected that I would feel this way at some point, okay? And it's day by day, day by day. It is, I tell my kids, you're gonna run this company whenever I die, because I'm not retiring. Like, I'm in for the long run. I'll get out of my office with my feet to the front, like this, okay?
Not for a long time.
That's how I'm gonna go. It is a great thing.
Is it the best part of your day?
Huh?
Is it the best part of your day?
Yeah, it's. I enjoy this tremendously, and I tell the people, I tell the rollers sometimes, I meet with them in the middle of the rolling room, and I tell them, guys, you're not just making cigars, you're making a product that somebody is going to buy and is going to enjoy. And that guy is the guy that pays your salary. I'm just a middle guy. If you make bad cigars, nobody will pay your salary. It's not me, okay? It's somebody that's going to buy the cigars you're making now, and is going to have a great time with it. So feel proud of what you're doing, and they actually do. They actually do. they have tremendous pride of how good they are when they roll cigars. And one wants to be better than the next one, than the next guy. So it's just fun, bro. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you for your time. Thanks for the stories. Hey, it's always a pleasure to talk to you and pleasure to smoke cigars with you.
Thank you, man. Likewise.
Yeah.